we're getting closer. Getting closer. 48 minutes. 48 minutes. And some change. We got 44 minutes. 44 minutes. Also, PBR Texas. PBR Texas on the second level is open. They have more seating, more bars, and also more TV screens. All right. Live Arena is sold out for tables, so everyone looking for tables, you have to look for side venues. Rangers Republic on the main floor. Lockhart Smokehouse on the main floor. Troy's Arlington also on the main floor. The Arlington Backyard, just on the other side of Lockhart Smokehouse, you got two giant big screens out there, also with outdoor bars. Outdoor patio bars also are open. Second level, every venue is open with screens and also more bars. Hey, that's cool. We also like to remind you guys today, if you're posting up on your social media during the game, before the game, post-game, use our tags. Go ahead on Instagram, use TX_live. TX_live for Instagram. On your TikTok, you could use Texas Live. Yeah, use our tags on your post, get reposted. That's a cool move. These guys are pumped. Look at that. Yeah, you guys look awesome. Look at that. All right, man. Good to have you in here in the house out there, Team USA. Look at them. It's all the first time I also played American music in 9 days here at the World Cup watch. That's right. We just went every World Cup game. That's right. So if you want to see other games, come on up. Yeah, it's good to see y'all out there. Stay tuned. I got some trivia. I'm going to give away a $25 live gift card for somebody who knows stuff. That's right. Good to see y'all. Everybody looking good over here. Yeah, man. We're getting closer. USA, 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 USA. All right, guys, I'm going to give you a chance to win a $25 live gift card. It's good for food and drink. You can also put it on your tab if you win. All right, if you like to play, we're going to do 15 questions. 15 questions. Scan the QR code to play. Punch in a kid-friendly name. Lots of children in the house out there, so don't humor me with your college humor trivia names. We'll purge all your points. All right, scan the QR code to play. We'll do 15 questions. Each question has a max value of 100 points. The faster you are with your correct answer, the more points you will get. The slower you are with your correct answer, you'll get some points. But that's called trickle-down economics. All right, 15 questions. Scan the QR code to play. I got a minute 20 on the clock. That's right, USA Trivia. Coming up, 15 questions. Scan the QR code. Get in it. You could win a gift card, a $25 live gift card. Good for food and drink. That's right. Look at that. Right. Hey, Mr. Ball's here. Got a soccer ball today. The wrecking ball's in the house out there. Look at it. I see it. All right. Hey, I just got me a new soccer ball. Look at that. Come take a picture with me there. All right, well, we got 5 seconds left on that. Getting ready for question number 1 on trivia. I'm going to get back, all right? See you, man. All right, question 1 of 15. Here we go, USA Trivia up on the board. You can win a gift card, 25 bucks. 25 pounds. Look how they did it. Answer different. Idaho. Jesse answered in the fastest. Paxton, you tied him. And then Michael right there.
Let's go USA!
Justice. That's USA.
your television. It is that loud here in Seattle. It's an all-German officiating crew, a very experienced VAR, an on-field crew that is in charge of a match for the first time in their careers here at the FIFA World Cup. And here comes the U.S. lineup without the injured Christian Pulisic.
A lot of talk coming in. Would he play, would he not? The answer is no, he will not. But Matt Freese continues in the goal, making his 17th appearance. The back line remains unchanged. Tim Ream and Chris Richards. Chris Richards did not misplace a pass in that last match. I think he's going to get more pressure. This is a back line that's conceded 11 out of their last 12 matches. Can they get a clean sheet today? Tyler Adams, you see he's on a yellow card in the middle. If he was pick up another, he would miss the next game. Weston McKennie, but the big news, Ricardo Pepi has not scored in a year and a half in the United States. Missed a lot of that with injury. Can he score today? Up against Patrick Beach. He was a surprise starter in game 1 for Australia. 22 years old. He's just making his 4th appearance for Australia. And surprisingly, 2 of their goal scorers from their first match against Turkey do not start in this one. Aaron Kumba is on the bench. Expect to see him in the second half. And Toure up front. He is a threat in transition. They have a lot of height. They play defensively. Let's see if the United States can compete and find a way to break down that back line.
What a special night that was Friday in Los Angeles. And now the road show's moved up the Pacific coastline to a city that is immensely proud of its soccer history. A city that has quite literally changed how professional soccer looks and sounds in this country. And now the question is, can the fans here in Seattle do for the United States what they have done so many times since 1974 for their Sounders? Roar them on to a win. And a win that would push the United States into the next round of this FIFA World Cup against an opponent like last week that is very motivated to try to spoil the party. Beautiful day here in Seattle. Everything we would have possibly hoped for the atmosphere. What about the game? It's underway. It's the United States in the red and white stripes. It's the Socceroos of Australia in yellow. It was not just special last week in LA. It was historic. 4 goals in the win against Paraguay. More goals than the U.S. has ever scored in a World Cup game. More goals than the U.S. scored in the entire last World Cup. And now a chance to do something that they've never done before. Clinch a spot in the next round with a game still to go. But Mauricio Pochettino is well aware of the fact that Australia is in exactly the same boat. They beat Turkey up the road in Vancouver, BC on Saturday night. 2-0 was the score. An errant pass. Mo Toure trying to run away from Chris Richards. Fires in, and Matt Freese, who didn't make a single save last week against Paraguay, makes his first save of his World Cup career.
Yeah, just Freeman misplaying a pass back to Chris Richards. Here comes the transition. Talked about Toure with his speed. This is what he wants. Situations like this to go 1v1, but the angle is very wide and ends up being comfortable for Freese at his near post.
And Australia can clinch a spot in the next round with a win in this game as well. They are brimming with confidence. They are building momentum, and the Australians are spoiling for a fight here today.
So it is as expected formation-wise for the United States. Ricardo Pepi's up front, 2-striker look. That person there making the run was Anthony Robinson, trying to get onto that direct ball. Good pressure here from the U.S. high up early. This is going to be a bit of a scrap, I think, the early stages of this game. Australia, we've talked about how defensively they had 29% possession in their first match against Turkey. Lowest ever for them in a World Cup match, yet they won 2-0. That shows you they don't need the ball. They're quite comfortable without the ball. Anthony Robinson, far side of the screen. He's going to play hot. That's going to bring Tillman inside to create some of these midfield rotations that were so successful for the U.S. in their first match.
Weston McKennie trying to angle it in there. Looking for Flo Balogun. It was Cameron Burgess who sends it out. And then just miscontrolled on the outside by Nishan Velupale. Tony Popovich was playing for Australia at the World Cup 20 years ago. He kind of rescued their qualifying campaign. And one of the things he talked about yesterday at the press conference, very similar to an American soccer standpoint. He said, we're trying to put Australia's soccer on the world map. It was great that we won, but now we've got to back it up and do it again. Arlington. Okay, and Italiano was able to block the cross. It's not going to be a corner. Decision from our referee, Felix Meyer, as it's a goal kick.
I think he's going to be a really important player today for the United States in the attacking half of the field. Boy, do they wish they had him. Christian Pulisic, fitness knock. Would he be in? Would he not? He is out and unavailable for the U.S. So that means that then Pepe came into the lineup. You're seeing a little bit of a different look formation-wise, but the big thing for them is having the two center forwards up against the three giant center backs for Australia and trying to create some movement. Here they are combining over.
Free kick for Australia. Kenny tap down the field. The extent to which you can hear anything we're saying. What more can you add on Christian Pulisic being out here today?
Well, John Mauricio, Pochettino telling me before the match, Christian Pulisic is making good progress. The hope is he is ready and able to be selected soon. Truthfully, he was a little sad. He did everything to try to be available today. I actually saw Christian Pulisic encouraging teammates before this match. He's been positive on the bench, specifically hugging Ricardo Pepi and offering some words of encouragement there as well.
Jimmy was the first one to bring us that news about an hour and a half before kickoff today. Melissa took a kick to that calf in practice in the days before the Paraguay game. It tightened up during the first half as he became the USA's all-time leader in World Cup assists. So that's the question. Who steps up into that absence and lifts the U.S. forward today? You see Winston McKennie popping up on the outside. Foreman trying to lift it up towards McKennie here. They'll bring it down. It's a new guest. Gets across. Before the shot was taken from Robinson, Felix Meyer spawned a foul and then against the U.S.
But this is a great example of why you play with two strikers. And the running from Western McKennie today, as it was against Paraguay, is going to be very important because that starts to draw players out of position. But now you've got Balogun attacking the near post, then Pepe coming over his shoulder. So traditionally, the U.S. just play with what? You've got 3 versus 1. This time you've got 3v2, but the movement in there just causes a little bit of chaos, and it almost bounces to Pepe. But a good early look, and the most important thing when you get into good positions in wide areas, you have to beat the first man. McKennie did there, and the U.S. almost finding a way through.
Matt Freese under some pressure here. Chris Richards under some pressure. It's another turnover at the back for the U.S. in possession. Great work by Chris Richards and taken away from blue ball. Pepe broken up by Harry Sutar. Came to the back of Pepe, no foul. And Torres now sandwiched by U.S. defenders. Green comes out there with the ball. And then Torma knocks it out for an Australia throw. And the U.S. starting a little frustrated right now.
Yeah, the turnovers will be your worst enemy in a game like this, where Australia, look, we talk about them sitting back deep, but when they feel there's a chance to press and you're facing your own goal, they're going to squeeze the game up, and they force the U.S. into 2 careless turnovers that have almost proved opportunities for them to find a way and attack the U.S. goal. So that is something in the middle of the field to be very aware of, as Pepe's chasing down Sutar here.
And the big man, Harry Sutar, the captain, back to the youngster Patrick Beach, just his 4th ever appearance for Australia. At the age of 22, but a monster night in the opener, 8-save shutout. It was promising there for a moment, but it was errant from Balogun for Tillman. Freeman wins the challenge in the air. McKennie has it knocked away. Adams got there. That's a tough tackle there. That was Matthew Leckie, long-time Australian veteran who catches Tyler Adams, and Adams is down hurt.
And Leckie was not a starter in the first game, 35 years old. They want to bring his experience into the game. To me, that's a yellow card. Not giving that yellow early. The ball's very clearly gone. He's late catching the left leg of Tyler Adams there. And he's getting a strong talking to, but no card issued on the play.
this team, such an important part of this team since he was a teenager. And Mauricio Pochettino, speaking to him yesterday after practice at the University of Washington, he speaks so much about the mental side of the game, and he said, more than anything else, we have to compete. We win or we don't win. Okay, we have to compete against Australia. Nice sequence there. Weston McKennie has Dest inside. Able to bring it in for Adams. Holds off Toure. Dest. McKennie. Great return. Dest blocked. Burgess got his body in the way. Freeman holds it in. And one of the interesting things, it's not hot, it is warm in the sun, and the sun is really shining down on that field. It's not zipping around as much, the ball, as we saw in LA last week.
Really good early signs, though, the U.S. getting Weston McKennie involved. He is going to be the key in this game. His running will unbalance this Australian defense. You just see he's very intelligent the way he moves off the ball, times his runs, and especially on this right side, the relationship with Dest, as you saw there, the two of them move so well off each other. Here they are again.
McKennie, great first touch, able to recover on the second. In for Pepe, back for Adams. Here's Weston once more. He's actually from these parts, Weston McKennie, even though his hometown is Dallas. He was born just down the road at Fort Lewis. His dad, longtime Air Force veteran. It's part of why he lived in Germany as a kid. So he doesn't have a ton of memories of Seattle, but this is, in one way or another, his hometown.
And it was Dest who starts the play initially. If you look at that running from McKennie, that attracts two defenders. And the smart thing that Dest does is he stays on the move, doesn't make him easy to mark, gets the shot with the left foot, but as you said, Burgess coming across, making that really good block. That's something Australia do well. They block shots. If you think you've got daylight, they converge on it very quickly.
Now there's a second for Cody Balogun to the byline. Balogun to the middle. Ricardo Pepi was in, was he perhaps left off the defender? Who cares? It's 1-0 U.S.
Mauricio Pochettino changes the formation, plays with two strikers for exactly this reason right here. Pepe stays centered right now. Australia will be able to step out, but if they're running out of the middle into the channels, something the U.S. is so effective at, and it's Balogun driving. You've got numbers in the box for Australia have to be aware of. And then the ball is put in the back of the net by Cameron Burgess. It's an open goal, but Pepe is there waiting for it. Has to make it on the lead post. Can't quite clear it, trying to get his feet set. But it's a great battering from Phil Balogun that creates that. But putting pressure on this five-man back line, and the U.S. find an early breakthrough once again.
Australia right back on the attack. Jacob Italiano blocked by Anthony Robinson, trying to play Lecky. Ream is there. Tillman can't cleanly escape. Italiano running in. Important interception by Adams. Then trying to get Italiano involved. Crossing in, Moture brings it down. Toure turns to face. Toure into the middle. The Lupale, the follow-up shot is just wide. Well, Matt Freeze, cement shoes there as Matthew Lecky goes close.
Well, instant response from Australia. Good movement off the ball. Lecky starts on the far right side and drifts in. There's a lot of U.S. bodies there, but Lupale, very good job just shielding Chris Richards and lays it off to be hit first time. That's not far away. Outside of the foot, looking for that far post.
Robinson with some pressure from behind there again. Whoever wins this game clinches their spot in the next round. With a game still to go. If it finishes a tie, neither team would clinch, and there are scenarios at play for both teams where the late game tonight, the other game in the group between Paraguay and Turkey, the U.S. could end the night clinching top spot in the group. Not just advance, another hit pass there by Burgess. It was his
that own goal, scrambling to clear the ball, goes out for a U.S. corner.
Philly fires. Gonna manage the jockey for position.
But they stack their big bodies, Australia, at that near post. So more than likely, the U.S. here will try to hit the back post to try to free guys up. That's what the conversation is right now about jostling, shirt pulling, tugging. Referee's got an eye on it, but the U.S. are trying to free Chris Richards up. That's the guy you want to find for Malik Tillman here.
Tillman swings it in. That was McKinney. And it was a handball against the United States.
And that's what they did. Beat that first man, get over the 6'6" Harris Sutar. And it's Weston McKennie, whose last goal for the U.S. was off a set piece against Belgium. He gets a great look at it there. Hard to see who it was blocked by. It was Boss, comes right off his chest, and then the right hand of McKennie hits it on the way back out. Great block by Boss, because that was going in that far corner.
Again, you see the way the ball's just slowing up a little bit on some of those passes at the back and the way the Australians are chasing it down and causing some pressure. Another little flick there by Dest. That was Burgess going up the back of Balogun. Adams tackles it away, but it falls to Toure. Chris Richards is there. And then Adams is dropped down. And this is part of the conversation in this game today. Australia want to make it physical.
Yeah.
They want to make this tough, so how does the referee handle it?
Well, the referee is important, but if we go back to the friendly where the two of these teams played the last time, the man not playing today, U.S.'s star player, Christian Pulisic, was kicked around. Mauricio Pochettino not happy with his own team's reaction and how they stepped up their physicality. Second half, they changed that. They ended up winning that game 2-1. And from that point on, there was a marker that was laid down to all of the players. And the U.S., I would say, if they prove their intensity, their physicality, that should be a foul. That's going to be the game's first yellow card here on Boss.
Jordan Boss there catching Weston McKennie up high.
Also, when you can't tackle a guy, you got to foul him. And that's what they're doing. McKennie just contact to the face from Boss there. That's what the yellow card is. But he's just been excellent again. For the almost identical starts to the game against Paraguay. Own goal for the opposition. The U.S. with a couple of nervy moments in the beginning as they did against Paraguay. And then from that point, it has been all U.S. And now they're going to get another chance from a set piece here.
And you've got Tillman and Anthony Robinson getting set over the ball. And the U.S. is going to push just about everyone up for this.
I'm interested who's going to take it because you have two options. The left foot of Robinson, which would bend on top of Beach, or Tillman, who had a good one. But I would put pressure on this young goalkeeper straight away here.
Robinson runs away. Tillman sends it in. It's McKennie with a flick. Draws a few oohs from the crowd. But he's a guy that he's coming off a career year, Weston McKennie. Such an important piece of, as you see, Robert Kennedy Jr. in the stands here today, here in Seattle. And it's not just, oh, that's another giveaway. It's Tillman. It's Australia trying to play out of the back. Tillman into the middle, too far for Balogun. But for McKennie, it's not just the stats, it's the fact that he's played in different positions for his club in Italy, Juventus. He's indispensable to them all over the field. He goes wherever he wants. He makes the game wherever he wants. And that was, I think, a big part of why you immediately, when we knew Pulisic wasn't going to play, said, Weston's got to be the guy today.
And because of the role that he is featured in, there's a big question. What position is his best position for the United States? Is he deeper? After seeing the season he had in Italy, where he was providing goals and assists, and that's part of that intelligence. And Mauricio Pochettino has found the right role for him. They have good structure behind the ball, so he doesn't have to worry as much about the defending, and he can just go and find those spaces that make an opponent uncomfortable. And a note on the field, you talked about how the grass is drying up. You saw that on the turnover from Australia. Because of the heat here today, it is a slower moving ball, and a couple of times Australia have left passes short
There's some immediate pressure there. Just glides away from Jordy Boggs, was able to poke it away as Dess was looking to make his move. Comes to Anthony Robinson now. He's looking in for Pepe there. It was Aiden O'Neal of New York City FC and MLS, teammate of U.S. goalkeeper Matt Freese, who intercepted that pass. Freeman for Weston McKennie. Boss defending on a yellow card. Again, a little under hit there, and Adams had to quickly recover it. Thumbs up for Weston McKennie at the end of the play. Green. It's the wrong side of McKennie. It's going to work, though, for Dess to keep it in play. In for McKennie. Can he catch it? No. There's the loop play there. Backtracking, but it's given away again. Good pressure by Dess. Into the box. A lot of numbers in there. Adams couldn't walk his way through.
Australia nowhere to go, though. Nobody on the transition except for, look at the speed from Toure. And Matt Freese is going to be alert to come out of his goal to deal with this one and just boot it. Looks like it stayed in.
It did stay in play. And that was great work by Alex Freeman as well, putting a body on Toure to try to slow him up. That is where Australia are just so dangerous. Leckie wins the knockdown. Italiano now. Anthony Robinson there. And it's a U.S. throw. Last off the Australian player. Well, the U.S. getting an own goal for a second straight game. That has never happened in the history of the FIFA Men's World Cup. And in fact, all time, only France have benefited from more own goals than the United States. That is number 5 in the history of the U.S. But as you pointed out, it's not just because of a terrible error as much as it is you create that chaos.
And as you pointed out, who cares who scores? It's a goal for the United States.
Some strikers might. Adams over the top. Is it going to sit for something? It's going to take it on play and beats us there in time.
And he's looking, how did I miscontrol that? I don't think he gets enough credit for the running he does off the ball. As
McKennie, foul again, blocked. And then Leckie, that was good work to kind of look Anthony Robinson off and allow Italiano to get on the run. Italiano trying to cut inside Anthony Robinson. Good support from Tillman. And you bring up Flo Balogun. He scored twice in the game against Paraguay. Described it as a dreamy night. First time since 1930 the U.S. got multiple goals out of a player in a World Cup game. A guy that could have played for Nigeria, where his parents are from, was playing for England at youth level, where he grew up. He chose to play for the United States, where he was born. Told us yesterday the American people are passionate. They're upbeat. I love that about them. And he said you felt that in the atmosphere in L.A. You're feeling that today as well. As Toure lays it off for Leckie, who's going to keep it in play. Reed defending. Leckie crosses.
here. Right here. Who wants this one? I got this one right here. That one's pretty sweet. All right, you want that one? Get your phone out. Scan this QR code up on the screen. All right, we're going to put that up there. 5 minutes on the clock. 5 minutes on the clock. Scan the QR code. Get your name in the bowl. I'm going to call one of your names. Scan that QR code right now. Come on. I'll give you the shirt. If you scan the QR code. All right. Scan the QR code. We're going to do this for the hydration break. All right, 2 minutes left on the clock. We'll do 2 minutes. Scan the QR code with this Team USA jersey I got. He wants a jersey. All right, looking at the clock, I got 1 minute, 1 minute. All right, here's what we're going to do. All right, time is up. If your name is Kimberly Pham, come get your jersey. Kimberly Pham, come get your USA jersey, girl.
That you want to try to avoid, but it is good. When the field is watered and you have an opportunity like that, where now the game will be
Bring me your ID, your passport, your UTA student ID card.
U.S.
Costco executive
with
card.
the win, clinching a spot in the next round with a game still to go. Thursday night down in L.A. against Turkey, and as you saw, 2 of the 3 possible
The
results.
library card, hunter's
When
permit.
Turkey played Paraguay tonight would mean the U.S. actually clinch the top spot in the group. And that's the most favorable path for them into the knockout round. Anthony Robinson, long run forward. Robinson's cross sails away from him. Although that was going out, or was it already out? It was already out before Boss touched it there.
Something I've been very impressed with, and this was the hope in playing 2 strikers, is that one will stay centrally, the other one is going to run. And that's flip-flopping between Pepe and Balogun. But in that sequence there, Pepe had made a great 30-yard run in behind. He didn't get the ball, but it doesn't matter because it dragged the center back with him. And it opened that space then for Robinson to make that run. The service was there, didn't come off, but great signs for the U.S. The center backs, they don't want to make those runs. But when you force them to, and they have to, it wears them down. And maybe it doesn't happen in that moment, but then the next one, you open up space for your teammate.
First time in a decade, the U.S. men are playing here in Seattle. It's a completely packed house. It's been just incredible scenes, even around the city in the last 2 days. This is a stadium built with World Cup soccer in mind. Unlike a lot of the other NFL stadiums that these games are being played in, when the plans were drawn up and the late Paul Allen, who was the driving force behind building this stadium, they made sure the stadium was built wide enough to hold a World Cup soccer field, which is more than 20 yards wider than an NFL field. Let alone all the support here over the years for the sport of soccer. Can the U.S. make it that much more a perfect day by getting a win? just important, foundational Seattle Northwest members of the Soccer royalty, former starting goalkeeper for the U.S. in a World Cup. Alex Morgan, a World Cup winner. Jill Ellis, a World Cup winning coach. Tony Popovich right now had an unbeaten first year as Australia's coach until October, when they lost to the U.S. in a friendly. Again, we call them friendlies, old-fashioned term. Mauricio Pochettino really dislikes that term. Non-official matches. The U.S. came from behind in Denver to win that game. It was a nasty game. It was physical. This one has had moments of it. Des goes down. There was Okan Engsler there. And for what it's worth, that game, Christian Pulisic actually came off hurt midway through the first half. So it's not altogether different that the U.S. is playing without Pulisic today, in the sense that they had to do the work without him in October.
But these little plays will frustrate the opposition. As long as you can do it in the right way. This Australian team right now reeling a little bit from the start that they've had. They have the one opportunity where Leckie has the outside of the foot shot, but largely been on the defensive side of the game. For them, that's not unusual. But just the way the U.S. have been able to pin them down but still be dangerous. Oftentimes you see them sitting in a deep block and conceding shots from distance. A lot of times his test has just been electric all tournament long. Just tries stuff. It's fun to watch, but more importantly, when it comes off, he breaks open the game. Love seeing him in this attacking position on the right.
Balogun all the way out to the left. Good work by Italiano to not let him through that time. That was how the U.S. created that own goal. Robinson dumped off the ball off the... I mean, think about it, the U.S. does not have a shot on goal right now. They've not really created a ton of chances in 35 minutes, but one of the chances they did create ended up in the back of the net. Comes into Balogun. Can he get up to it? He can. Still full Balogun. Dancing. Loving it. Feeling it. Italiano was there to tackle it out in front of Robinson. And that's the big difference, because Turkey couldn't find the back of the net with the chances they were creating Saturday night in Vancouver. The old cliche in the game is that goals change games, and how different this is for the sake of that goal.
But the difference also is, if you look at the stat line, Turkey had a ton of shots, but a lot of those shots were outside the box. They didn't test the Australian goal in Patrick Beach. So the U.S. being patient in moments and waiting for the gaps to open up. But while having the ball and shifting it quickly, you're wearing down the opponent. So you're doing the work for later in the game, not just now. That's something to consider for the second half, and as this game goes on, the opposition tires. And this is something I have loved from this team. From 1 to 11 on the field, closing down, counter-pressing when the ball turns over, just a real commitment to stop the opposition getting anything.
There's Malik Tillman there, German born and raised, son of an American serviceman. Serginho Dest out on the right, born and raised in the Netherlands. His dad, longtime member of the military who served in Vietnam. We mentioned Weston McKennie, who was born at Fort Lewis. It's a big part of the story is the number of players over the years and on this team, sons of American servicemen. And whether raised in this country or not, in that case, they choose to play for the United States. And these guys are so dialed in to this opportunity. The crowd in L.A., the way the country's engaged. Great turn by Pepe. Flo Balogun now has Dest. Australia flooding numbers backwards, crossing in. Pepe rising up. Those big hairy suits aren't headed away. The Australians struggling to deal with it. Dest trying to get in. Scrambled out for a U.S. throw.
Another good example. Instead of the ball turning over and retreating, no, put the pressure on. Well, the ball's in their box. Great recognition by Dest. It was his cross that was cleared away. Follows the ball in. And just a lot of panic at the back from Australia as that ball's out. It will be an Australian throw. And this is good. These are team doctors right now checking these guys for potential concussion symptoms, making sure that they're clear to continue in the game. And that's what the referees, the conversation is right here.
Out of view of that, Chris Richards has run over to have a chat with Mauricio Pochettino. It's just so tough because you want to play, if you're a player, you want your starters on the field, if you're a coaching staff, but you just have to be so smart about long-term health. The brain is a muscle that is just, as we all know, it's hard to really know for sure in the moment. And so, being very intense.
Hey, please don't stand on the furniture, bro. Please don't stand on the furniture.
Are continuing. There will be quite a bit of stoppage time coming at the end of the half between the break and then the stoppage there. So a long way still to go. The U.S. a goal to the good, the 11th minute own goal. Matt Freese has made one save. His counterpart Patrick Beach has actually not made a save. The U.S. has not managed a shot on goal yet, just the own goal. As Freeman has it tackled out, and you see Oklahoma's with the kind of bandaging and I guess Vaseline, for lack of a better word, on the back of his head.
And the possession stats for the United States looking very similar to the first game against Paraguay. 71% of the ball in the first half. Right now it's a 70-30 split. So both teams tracking exactly how we felt the game would line up. Can the U.S. find a second goal?
Austin McKinney, nice little move to get away. Underhit, trying to roll it in for Pepe. Put it right back to him, though. Here's McKinney. Look at all the yellow shirts in there, though. Struggling to find a way to go. Freeman for Dent. Tillman's out on that side now. Off the nutmeg. Couldn't get it back under control. Tillman now for the first time working hard to win the ball back for the U.S. He's getting wrapped up. He's getting poked out. Dent comes in. Referee looking at it. Free kick U.S.
Wow.
Man.
So Junior Dest brings the game to life with his skill as it comes wide. Little two-man game.
See how he's pulling on him?
Fine.
Man.
And I thought perhaps a chance for a penalty there if Dest
What's up with that?
his legs and takes some of the contact. So very honest, because so often you see players, he'd gotten there first, he touched the ball to the side, and I think if he just takes that contact from Burgess, that's a penalty. But he stays on his feet thinking he can get on the end of that one. Leads to the set piece.
Robinson fizzing it back. Serginho Dest blocks. Still in between. He had an assist in game one. He's got a goal in game two. We're into 7 added minutes at the end of the first half. It was a big talking point. It was a part of the crisis this team was in a year ago, that so many of the top players were not a part of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Alex Freeman is one of the guys who got his opportunity as a result, and he is, after becoming a lockdown starter under Mauricio Pochettino at that Gold Cup, played in every single game since. You take your opportunity whenever, however it comes. And how similar that is to the game Friday against Paraguay, for the U.S. to get another goal late in the half. There might be more coming. We've still got good 5 minutes here. Tillman wins the corner.
Look, I was told this crowd were the 12th man. I'm going to say they're the 12th, 13th, 14th man. I mean, the energy, the sound in this building from the moment this team walked out. In fact, yesterday, walking the streets, just such a buzz all tournament long. These U.S. fans are fired up, and quite frankly, for good reason. This team is delivering, and once again carrying a 2-goal lead right now.
Tillman has Anthony Robinson a short option. Robinson runs away. Tillman hooks it in. Body's already down. Richards was rising up, and there was a foul there as the Australian defender went down. I think for copyright reasons, they're not allowed to say 12th man. They're the 12s. But I think in this context, so here's a look back at.
Well, the U.S. recognizing also that Australia were very deep, and Dest was wide open at the top, so it actually wasn't even close in the end. And Alex Freeman, I do love that as that ball popped up, he turned so quickly to be there. Look, what a rise. You talked about it. Father, an NFL player, widely successful. He came up through the Orlando City Academy, made a move over to Spain, playing now in Villarreal, one of the best leagues in the world in Spanish La Liga. Has just become such a dependable player for Mauricio Pochettino.
Well, that was misplayed there. Ream was a bit late. And the decision is going to go against Australia. Handball on Jordi Baz, who thought he was running through there.
Yep, great call. Felix Fire, referee, has been all over it. Good first half from him as well, I feel, in game management, giving out cards when he needs to, letting the intensity be high. Going to be a lot of questions for Tony Popovich going into the half of how do you change? Look, for the Australians, they're going to be chasing this game a little bit. But now you're starting to also think this is game 2 of 3. Third place finishers will go through. Turkey going to play later on today against Paraguay. This is an Australian team by winning that first game and put themselves in a good position, but you don't want this to get ugly. But how hard do you go and come back at the U.S.?
And from a U.S. standpoint, it was one of the things that we talked about with Chris Richards yesterday. They didn't want to get complacent off the back of the first win. And you don't want to get complacent now.
No.
Because Paraguay worked their way back in for a stretch there in the second half. And you know the Australians are going to spend the entire halftime yelling and screaming and getting fired up.
And the hope is as well for this U.S. back line, they take some pride in a clean sheet. Because the stat out there, they've conceded a goal in 11 of their last 12 games. And as it was against Paraguay, a goal that came out of nothing. A clean sheet, no goals against would be huge for this confidence of this group defensively, as that one's going to...
A little contact there. Felix Fire is going to say goal kick.
But overall, John, a great first half for this U.S. team. And answering the questions again, hey, you did it once against Paraguay. Can you go again? The answer to that question is yes.
Matt Freese is getting the count. He's got to go quick here. A 5-second countdown from the referee, taking the goal kick. And then Pepe is out jump, but did it last come off him? It did. It's an Australia throw. U.S. has got to stay switched on here. Final 2 minutes or so of this first half. We'll see if we go past 52 minutes on the clock, because we lost a lot of the first minute of stoppage time with the goal celebrations. Ream, a strong header there. Adams, a strong header. Balogun. And he takes a knock to the back of the head. Flo Balogun is down. Ends up as an Australia throw. Just caught the chin, it looked like, of Again, back on his feet. Australia with a throw. That's actually how they created their goal against the U.S. in the fall, was starting from a throw-in. Adams intercepts with Robinson's help. Tillman, nice little flick there. Pepe Ballion wants to run with it. Tillman, light traffic, able to weave through it. Couldn't play the pass directly through. Austin McKinney is down in some pain. Freeman is driving forward. Freeman into the box. Inside Serginho. Too perfect. First save of the game, Patrick Beach.
Dest is hungry for a goal. Great work from Alex Freeman. Look at all the yellow shirts he drags out of position. Now they have a 3v1. That opened up space for Serginho Dest, trying with the left foot to go to the far post. And Australia maybe trying to find something right at the end of the first half.
Taliano weaving his way through. Back to the near side for Jordan Boss. Final seconds. Final play of the half. Dest can't make the tackle. Boss driving to the byline. Freeman is there and ends up just kind of petering out for a goal kick. And look at the entire U.S. bench right now. Every single player is up, celebrating that defensive effort. That's the end of the half. It is another picture-perfect half for the men of the United States. The only one involved, the late one from Alex Freeman, which was given after video review. Rob Stone, the crew on the other side of the break. 45 minutes down, 45 to go in Seattle, where it's the United States 2, Australia 0.
FIFA World Cup 2026 on Fox is sponsored by American.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Team USA out there, man? I see you all out there, man. We got the lead 2-0, 2-0. Yeah, good to see you, man. Look at San Diego in the house. Look at it. USA, how you all doing out there? All right, I just got one question for you all out there. Who would like to win $100? I got $100 right here. I'm gonna give $100 to somebody out there. Who wants $100? You want that? All right, you know what? I got this QR code that you're gonna scan right now. We're gonna go ahead and throw that up on the screen. Scan this QR code. I got 5 minutes on the clock. You're gonna win this $100 bill. Right now, scan the QR code. I got $100 just for you. Put it in your pocket. That's right, right now. Scan the QR code. You can win $100 cash. Right? You can buy like a Team USA jersey with that. I got 3 minutes and a half out there. 3 minutes and a half. Scan the QR code. Well, I win this $100 bill right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I got 1 minute. 1 minute left. 1 minute. Scan the QR code with this $100 bill. Now you see up there. Look at that. It's right here. It's right here. Look at that. It's real. Look at that. I'm touching it right now. I'm touching it for you. Seconds, 30 seconds. All right. 10 seconds, 10 seconds. We're at 2. Into 1. All right, if your name is, I'm looking for Ethan Blatton. Ethan Blatton. Come get your money. Come get it. Bring me your ID. Bring me your driver's license, your student ID, UTA ID student card, executive Costco business card, puncher's license, passport. If you don't know where to go, ask someone who works here. Right? I'm the guy with the big head. That's what she said. Bull ride, second level. Well, where's Ethan? Ethan, come get your money. Where's Ethan at? Come get your money. Not you. Dude, I know your name is not Ethan just by looking at you. It's more like Ernie, maybe, you know? Ethan Lanton, L-A-N-T-O. Oh, Blanton, I'm sorry. I forgot the B. Blanton, Ethan Blanton. There he is.
there's some young players out there, but there are experienced players out there that even if it stays 2-0, doesn't matter. You ride it out.
You hit the nail on the head, Lex. You got to be very smart. Got to put in a professional performance. You talk about 2-0 being a scary scoreline. You have one goal, you let them back in it. So keep the pressure, keep suffocating them. You know, with the water breaks, with the heat, it's going to make it more difficult on them. Obviously, if we get the next goal, it'll kill off the game. But yeah, you got to stay professional and keep doing what you're doing. It's been really impressive and fun to watch.
Well, you talk about suffocating them. The regains and the numbers around the ball when they lose it has been absolutely fantastic.
With the win, the U.S. advances to the round of 32. We'll see a post-game. For now, back upstairs, John Strong and Stu Holman.
Rob, it is in fact going to be a triple substitution for Australia at the half. Nestor Aaron-Kunda is going to walk into your picture in just a moment as the third. Cameron Burgess is the first to have his number put up. Jason Garia, who was the one who delivered the hard tackle that banged up Christian Pulisic in the fall, is on. Connor Metcalf, who scored a wonderful long-distance goal the other night. And the other goal scorer in that game, Mr. Aaron-Kunda, is the third who comes on the field for Australia. How does this change their team?
My first thought is that this is going to be a formation change, potentially for Australia, but we'll see how it ends up lining up. They take off one of their center backs, bringing on a new one. They're going to come and chase this game here in the second half.
In the second half of the glorious sunshine, a rocking Seattle Stadium, which is underway. So 3 changes, maybe not, 2. Okay, let's start with it. Why is the U.S. on the opening kickoff of the half kicking the ball out of bounds?
The reason you do this from a U.S. perspective, or if they do it again, yeah, you're dumping it down into the opponent's half. Out of bounds, not ideal if that, oh, wow, that's about perfect. Right down into the corner. They're going to take it by the corner flag. Couldn't get any better. So now what you want is you've got the team with a throw-in. You squeeze up, as you'll see once we pan out to the wide look here, to put a team instantly under pressure. And something Carly was just talking about, the regains. The U.S. like the game being played in Australia's defensive half. You want to squeeze them.
Of course, now you're on the run. This is where they are so dangerous, but Anthony Robinson's there first.
But that's how teams do that. That's how this U.S. team wants to play. They want to be aggressive, and they want to make sure that they play in Australia deep in their own half.
All right, so how is this look different as you're getting a sense of it now for Australia with the subs?
So it's going to be interesting, the in and out of possession. Looks like more of a 5-2-3 with Italiano pressing up high. The other thing is they are pressing up, so I think Australia now trying to work on some regains. That should, in theory, open up some space for the U.S. in some transitions if they can play through that initial press. But these first 10 minutes are huge to make sure the U.S. do not concede anything here.
Hayden O'Neill of New York City FC and MLS battling with Anthony Robinson. Goal kick is the decision, and the U.S. were furious because they thought they should have had a free kick at midfield at the beginning of that sequence anyway.
But they've released a defensive player from their defensive structure to go and press the U.S. higher to try to limit some of that numbers advantage that the U.S. had in their build-out.
U.S. unchanged. You saw Christian Pulisic there. He's sitting on the bench. He's not going to play today. The calf injury he picked up really in practice, actually, in the days before the Paraguay game. And despite all the hard work, could not get it to recover enough to be able to play. The hope is he'll be available Thursday night in L.A. for the group stage finale against Turkey, which, as it stands, not to say it doesn't matter, of course, but the U.S. as it stands are clinching a spot in the next round with a win. It could potentially, based on what happens later tonight in the other game of the group between Turkey and Paraguay, know for sure that they're winning the group by the end of the night as Flo Balogun is fouled. It'll be late tonight in Santa Clara, California, the South Bay area. Referee of that game, by the way, Yvonne Bartone of El Salvador. And if you know that name at all, you know, expect some chaos. Those are two teams that are coming off a loss in the opener, have been roundly criticized in their home countries by their media, are under an immense amount of pressure to bounce back with a win, and really each team needs a win. A tie keeps each alive, but doesn't really do them a whole ton of good. So that's going to be a wild one late tonight. Jenny tapped out of the field, get a chance to speak to Jesus Perez, Chief of Staff of the U.S. coaching staff under Mauricio Pochettino. Jenny, what do you have to say?
Well, Jesus was very pleased with that first half, telling me at the moment we are solving what Australia is doing against us. We're attacking them at the right time and the right space. We do need to stay mentally strong in the second. I had to ask Jesus about that goal from Alex Freeman. Obviously, they had to wait for it. He said, we knew it was onside. We were watching it, but of course, a huge relief for us. And John, I got to say, watching that celebration from the U.S. team, one of the best I've ever seen.
And Jenny, was interesting is Dest is going to get first for that loose ball. And is that indeed a foul? It is. Couldn't hear the whistle at first. We heard one of the Australian coaches giving interview to Australian television at the half as well. They fully believe that it shouldn't have been a goal. They were arguing that Balogun from an offside position was impeding the goalkeeper, which doesn't really stand up to scrutiny and replay. But that was, like you talked about, their emphasis. Can they get some fresh legs on? Can they open it up and get on the run and put the U.S. back on their heels? Chris Richards opens it up to Serginho Dest. Great combination he and Weston McKennie had in that first half. Tyler Adams joining up now.
Well, there were some questions about who was going to come in for Christian Pulisic. What would Mauricio Pochettino do? Did he bring Tim Way and put him on the right and flip Dest? I don't think you move Dest a single ounce from that position on the right. He is so dangerous. You see him, he's second top guy from your screen up there, where he comes inside now and becomes unpredictable to make these types of runs from inside to out. Then he's wide, then he's in. He and McKennie, look, I just, we'll talk so much about this throughout this tournament, but the two of them have got a really nice partnership together. You've got the solidity of Freeman, so Dest doesn't have to worry as much about the defensive side of the game. And I think that's just the biggest thing I've seen from this team and the way that they are set up tactically is that they have structure, but at the same time while having freedom and featuring the best qualities of all of these players in the right positions. Here's Dest again.
That was good pressure there to force just a hopeful ball forward for the goalkeeper Beach. It led to this possession for the U.S. That one is from Dest for Tillman. You can scan the QR code coming up on your screen. Vote for the Michelob Ultra Superior Player of the Match. Very similar to what we saw Friday night in that first half. Every single guy in the field is making plays, even if they're subtle and don't show up on a statistical sheet. As Robinson pressured off it there, Aaron Kuna gets the touch. Okan Ainsler opens it up wide for Italiano. Anthony Robinson defending. Italiano cuts it inside, crosses inside. Tyler Adams is there to head away. Happy with some pressure. Australia wanted a free kick. They don't get it. Balogun's got space. There we go.
Blocked, ends up out for a corner. Gets caught under his feet. He's trying to look up and see where Beach is. The space was there. This is Round Australia, an example. They're trying to push and find a goal, but then they leave themselves exposed at the back. First touch is good, but that touch right there, the second one, gets caught under his feet as he's trying to separate to give him room for the strike, and then ends up being a great challenge from Chikati at the end to put off Flo Balogun as he was looking for his third goal of the tournament, and certainly would want that one back. And he probably will get that one back if this game will continue in that way. He's going to have room to run in behind this Australian defense.
The Australians would not have been happy had that ended up in the back of the net with the amount of shirt that he added the defender. They would have been really upset about that. Here comes the fourth quarter of the game. Sent into a great spot. The second man there, that was Shirkati, couldn't get up to it, was able to clear. Tillman takes the bump, trying to control a bouncing ball. Aaron Kuna brings it down. Alex Freeman is there to intercept the outlet pass. And Tim Reed, veteran savvy, extending by a week his own record as the oldest man to play in a World Cup game for the U.S. Just slows it down, settles it down. McKennie will find the angle there for Balogun. He's proving a handful. Able to turn and face on Shirkati. It's another corner.
Great running again, Flo Balogun. And he does really, they're playing it quickly. He pins his defender really well, uses his body to shield and make sure that they can't come across and win the ball, drives his team down, wins that corner, which the U.S. took short.
Tillman will do it again.
I'm sure everybody at home would want this game to go 4-5-0. This is the U.S. being smart here. They don't need to raise the control of the match all the time for 45 minutes. Be smart, keep the ball, exert your energy in the right ways, and if the space is there, go. But take seconds off the clock if you can.
Well, again, Balogun was up for it, and Balogun head-to-head collision with the Australian defender. That's the second collision that Balogun has taken. One was to the back of the head. This is to the front. Chakani there, the Australian defender. And the medical staffs will not come running out. Trinity Robin, who we saw pregame among the luminaries and celebrities here in Seattle. Who doesn't want to be a part of this bandwagon right now? It's a good step meanwhile off the ball. The U.S. has won it back high at the field as Jonathan Lynch is watching. What's the famous beast quake? They actually do have seismometers, is that what you call it? I'll look it up later. But yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up in the booth. All right. To measure, like you would an earthquake, the shaking of the building. And we had two big roars and big shakes here today. Freeman lifts it forward. McKinney brings it down. It'll be an Australia throw. And Russell Wilson in there as well. CR and his wife. Wilson is, among other things, a part owner of the Seattle
Culture references are much better today. You know, we didn't.
Don't jinx us, man. Don't jinx us.
It does speak to the amount of people that want to be a part of this and attending a World Cup match in our home country here in the United States. First time on the men's side since '94.
Richards forgets too far from.
It's been a spectacle. The energy, I can't speak enough about it. And just soaking it in from city to city as we go. LA, get ready. We're coming back there for that Turkey 8 third match.
Adams, good tackle in the middle. That was Anthony Robinson not ready for it. Could be a foul. It's going to be an advantage here. There might be punishment coming for Robinson later. Pepe wins the ball. Referee Felix Barr is going to call that dead for a foul. It's an Australian free kick, and the question now is Anthony Robinson going to get a yellow card? He is.
This was not the foul that led to the yellow card. This was the second one, which I actually felt was a paid challenge from Pepe, but that was brought back, which actually ended up stopping the advantage. This was the tackle, yeah, pretty clear. Anthony Robinson trying to step across with his right foot. Italiano, for the first time all game, quite frankly, getting the better of Anthony Robinson. Robinson has been penning him back deep. Seeing much more of an aggressive positioning from Italiano in this half. So they're trying to get really their wide fullbacks higher up the field to try to keep the U.S. back a little bit. But the problem for Australia is they've just been unable to keep any possession of the ball. And now they're in the set where they were that led to the U.S. chance. But they're going to spread out. They're going to open themselves a little bit from that defensive shell. So if the U.S. can win the ball, like, that would stay.
It did. Well, the unfortunate thing is that came from a turnover from the U.S. and Robinson had to step in. So he's got a yellow card. Tyler Adams as well. He was shown a yellow card last week in the first game. If you get a second yellow card in another game, you will be suspended for the next game. So if Tyler Adams were to get a yellow card in this game, he would be suspended Tucker, the video assistant referee based in Dallas at the International Broadcast Center, will be having a look at it.
And it has indeed been changed. So there's Aaron Kunda coming across. When a player is that adamant, normally you believe them over something like that.
Really? So if you just yell loudly, we should believe the players more?
And if it's not, you still try anyways. That's the nature of us players.
But it's interesting because remember Tim Ream at one point was shown a yellow in that first game. Ended up being taken away. Matthew Leckie is down in pain. 35-year-old, long-time veteran of this Australian team. His fourth World Cup. No one expected him to be here at a fourth World Cup. He had a series of injuries. After the last one in Qatar, it's been 2 years since he'd been called into Australia. When he was brought back in the last few months, and Tony Popovich saying just what a terrific job Leckie has done as a 35-year-old to have the second wind of his career and get back to this moment. And now he's getting stretched out. Australia have made 3 subs already of the available 5. It's a chance for the U.S. We're a little bit shy of the second half drinks break, as they call it in Australia, from a cricket standpoint.
And I'm still scratching my head a little bit about his selection process coming into this game. I know he put Leckie into the lineup, but he took his 2 goal scorers out of the lineup and then rectified that at halftime, bringing these guys into the game in the second half. But I don't know whether that was tactically that he felt it gave him a little bit more solidity behind the ball, and his plan was to bring these guys in the second half and be more aggressive, but they've gone to that, and we'll see if Leckie can continue. It looks like they're preparing another sub, Christian Volpano.
Will they make the sub now? He's ready to go.
This is an interesting player for them as well.
They will make the substitution now. That's 4 out of 5 for Australia. And Volpano, another born in Australia, Italian parents, was playing for Italy's youth national teams and just made a switch 3 weeks ago to play for Australia. And that's his World Cup debut now on the field for the banged-up Matthew Leckie.
Yeah, just his second appearance for Australia, but he is a player that is very dangerous, 1v1, creative type of players. Going to give Australia a little bit of a look if they can find him in some space to get turned and be a provider. But he's a very attacking player.
He's going to sneak in between defenders to bring that ball down in the air. West to McKennie. Great ball. Adams beaten to that in the middle by Metcalf. Now they're trying to get Aaron Kunda on the run. Richards just trying to play the angles. Aaron Kunda doesn't have much support. Waiting for that support. For his backward shot is blasted over. Just on the field, his first touch.
And there's going to be a review here for a player that went down in the box off that run. If there was contact, it was Volpano talking about that creativity. He gets the ball in the big spaces, gets turned, and the way the pass is very good. This is the speed they want from Aaron Kunda. He runs it behind. And the incident that ends up coming, no, that is not going to be a penalty because Tyler Adams doesn't even see Metcalf's run as he's coming across, and he just catches his heels, but he's not looking at him. It's very incidental contact. I do not think that'll be a penalty.
Mark Clattenburg, what about you?
Of course they will review it, but I agree with Stu. He's coming from Tyler Adams' blind side. Tyler Adams doesn't go to block him. He's not even looking at him. There's a natural coming together, and I believe that the VAR will not interfere with this.
And you were both correct. But another little, just a reminder for the U.S. Of where this can get dangerous, and that was, you know, Clint Dempsey, Carly, and Alexi talking at halftime. It's why it's such a well-worn cliche in our sport that 2-0 is the most dangerous lead, because Australia pop one in and all of a sudden they're a goal away, the momentum shifts, the vibe shifts, everything can change in a heartbeat.
And it'll be interesting to see how Mauricio Pochettino manages his bench here. And I think potentially looking to give his team a little bit of a lift in energy and guys off the bench that will be key. And right on cue, the crowd recognizing they want to give the team a lift.
Tillman, out of Valiant, Pepe's open in the middle. Valiant trying to get under control. force the Socceroos back. A minor later tonight on FS1, the other two teams in this group, Turkey against Paraguay. In the South Bay area, Santa Clara, California, coverage begins at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 in the evening tonight here on the West Coast on FS1.
I'm just wondering if Mauricio Pochettino would be thinking about bringing on an extra midfielder to beef up his midfield and counteract some of the changes Australia made. That was almost even Kuma at the bases right because Richard has stepped over. Yeah. And you can hear a little bit of uneasiness. So now Matt Freese barking at his back line. I just think, look, you played the two strikers, you got the two goals. coming in strong and also late, as you can see the foul there on Tim Ream.
Berhalter's ready. And they've been having a hard time with that electronic board all day today. Astro Aaron Kunda became Australia's youngest ever World Cup goal scorer last week. Trying to get him going. It'll be Ricardo Pepi taking off for Berhalter. First a thought on Pepi. That was the lineup change for the injured Christian Pulisic. What do you think about his
He was a
performance?
handful, and a big part of the goal, the own goal from Burgess. I thought he did a lot of selfless running that you won't always get credit for as a striker, but running into the channel, hold-up play, link-up play with Balogun, the two of them worked well together. Great work from Anthony Robinson. Look at that strength here from Balogun. That's so good. You got a guy all over your back, but still to just keep your hands out, get your elbows up, make it difficult for him to get around you. Also, look, saying I'm quite happy actually to take the foul here and just give the U.S. a free kick and stop the momentum a little bit from Australia.
Paul O'Connor being called over by Felix Weyer. He's known as a referee that likes to keep a game tight, that likes to use his cards to control a game. He's not really done that. He's also known for really not enjoying dissent. And that was O'Connor had a word on the way through as boy Sutar almost kicked Gary in the face. Tillman picks up the second ball. Tillman rides the challenge. Just slows it up and cycles it around. That's Berhalter's first touch. And Aaron pass for Dest to the outside. Boss struggled to get on the run. O'Neal just threaded that through for Metcalf. Now Italiano. Anthony Robinson waiting for him. A little bit of space here for Metcalf. It's Volpato. Volpato gets the cross in. Freeman stooping low, heads it away, and that header evades multiple Australia players. Balogun can't escape. Garia gonna recycle. Richards is there to head away. Robinson trying to steer to the open side of the field for Dest. 15 minutes plus stoppage time to go. U.S. as it stands, clinching a spot in the next round. Could clinch the group stage win in Group D based on what happens later tonight between Turkey and Paraguay. Fifth and final sub in the wings for Australia. Volpato. Adams defending. Italiano. Volpato on the return. Cuts it back on McKennie. Sweeps into the middle. Popped in the air by Richards. Aaron Kunda rising up. Bodies and limbs everywhere. It's cleared away.
Yeah, seeing some tired legs from the U.S. out there right now, not following the runners. They're going to hold this one to make the sub. Australia wanted to go quickly. They're also, I would imagine, going to check something in this sequence.
Doctor wants an extra moment to take a look in here.
So it hits his hands, but that's not a penalty. And you can see Felix Weyer, the referee to the right, he sees it pretty clearly. And the reason it's not is that they're both challenging for the ball. There's not an unnatural movement from his hand up to the ball. The ball doesn't move because of that. I don't think this will be anything from a handball perspective.
Paul O'Connor will be replaced here.
And once a sub happens, that means that that has indeed been checked and clear.
Fifth and final sub for the Socceroos. Jackson Irvine, another long-time veteran, 33-year-old at his third World Cup. And in contact off the ball, Christian Volpato goes down. Anthony Robinson, who's on a yellow card, certainly seems unimpressed with Volpato's going to ground.
Volpato's been a nuisance since coming into the game. You see his creativity. He's a difference maker for Australia. Let's see what happened off the ball down to our right. And that sign there says nothing in it from the referee. So that's being communicated via the VAR. So he initiates it. And then look, the left arm comes up from Robinson. And he's trying to bait Anthony Robinson into getting the yellow card. Well, the other opposite part of the game. I like what you VAR in these moments that would not allow this just end up being something that would be whistled and Robinson would be punished. But if I'm Pochettino, I'm thinking about Robinson right now on a yellow and under pressure that maybe he's a guy you would bring out of the game.
Austin Trusty and Joe Scally are prepared to enter at the next opportunity for the U.S. And they're going to set up here. This is one of the weapons they have. Alessandro Cercati has a long throw in him. And he's going to come across from one side of the field to the other to take this long throw. Everyone back to defend in the box for the United States.
Got to be aware of the second ball.
Comes backwards and short. O'Neal will return. Cercati blocked by Balogun. Australia corner. Like we've talked about, I mean, these moments are so significant. You're 2-0 right now. Don't even let Australia get in shouting distance. 11 minutes to go. Plus stoppage time. Third quarter of the game. Swept in. Good hand around there. Man down to the U.S.'s 47 times.
this is a pretty clear foul right at the near post that led to the chance to shoot to block in the box. Again, this is really get a good strike on this ball. He knows that he's very frustrated. This is down the line. It's matching duels. It's keeping that intensity high because the second you let that level drop is when Australia really feeds off that.
You know what could really help the U.S. is get a goal. Tillman works it for Scally. Freeman's all the way on the outside.
But they just haven't had as much possession in the second half. It was a lot of it in the first.
Freeze just got that away from Uruguay. Corey out jumps McKinney. Flying header from Tyler Adams. Balogun and Sutar pushing and shoving off the ball. Balogun's got to be smart. Sutar's got his hands all over Balogun, and that is, no, it's going to go for an Australian free kick.
They're actually just going to set this up, I think, for a long set piece. They're going to send everybody up. And they're going to bring Volpato back to take it. It'll be interesting. Typically in this situation, you try to line up two setups. Position a group at the top of the screen, which is where you've got your big man and Sutar, to then head it back across to guys crashing the box on the near side. Freeman once again matched up against Sutar, who will be the target.
Volpato lifting it up. Sutar heads it in. Richards clears it out. Volpato first to the loose ball. Good hard running by Balogun there to force him backwards. Volpato rolls it forward for Irvine. Trying to return. Enough of a touch there. Oh, it's going to be whipped back in across. Chris Richards wins the header. Second ball in the stands. These guys are working hard. That's George Way. Tim Way's dad. Tim Way's mom, Clara, who was his first coach growing up. And George Way, a former World Player of the Year. Tim, not on the field for this one. Has an important role to play in this tournament, to be sure. Balogun is down hurt. Tillman takes the kick. That's going to be a free kick, and now Balogun's got to be careful as Sutar and he were in a wrestling match. Don't take a yellow card. Don't do something that's going to get you suspended for a future game.
I'm going to give credit to Phil Balogun here because he's mixing it up enough and he's stopped himself. To have restraint in these moments, to not swing an arm, to not punch back. Sutar is trying to get under his skin. Those two...
Nothing like a little two-step there.
Against an opponent.
And so something else has happened off the ball. This is exactly how the game ended in October between these teams.
This calls for leadership. Something I pointed out in the pregame where Tyler Adams got involved in a play that almost saw Gio Reyna reacting, and he came in and separated the two players. The U.S. has, as it stands, more games to play in this tournament. Do not let this moment where you are leading 2-0 get the best of you and do something silly that would hurt the team.
Balogun takes the yellow. Sutar takes the yellow. Looked like Italiano might have gotten a yellow as well.
See, Balogun's sizing him up. Sutar goes in, but look how he's got his hands on his neck. But see, Balogun then was like, uh-oh, what am I doing?
Wow.
I gotta stop.
What in the ditty is going on here? Look at
And away from what was about to be a headlock. Now they're going to pick up yellow cards. I would say that's right because Felix Weyer, the referee's got to do something to try to calm this type of behavior down a little bit and calm this game down. It's had no flow in the second half, but that's why...
Thought he was playing rugby there for a second. Yeah.
Tillman couldn't do anything with that. Italiano clears it away. Big collision there. Free kick U.S. And Scally that's down.
In the second half here, the Australians have come here to have a rugby match. And
I mean, if they're going to go down, they're going to go down swinging. We knew that. That's nothing new. That's more Australian rules football, I would say, than rugby. But
it's fair. Both.
the advantage of this situation. Balogun gets a yellow, but you've clinched the win. You could just not play him in the third game, and that yellow card is taken off the record, and you don't have an accumulation issue with him going forward. Tillman's touch, Austin Trusty wins the corner as he's making his World Cup debut. Confirmation, Italiano did get a yellow in that little sequence a moment ago as well. And we'll see how much time is going to come up here with the 3 minutes for the break. We've got a couple players banged up.
Well, it seems they played this short. They might try and limit it. We're in the 90th minute. We expect 6 minutes. Yeah. It's a long time to try and keep the ball in the corner. Some conversations between Tillman and Berhalter. So yeah, they are just trying to milk some seconds off the clock. That went out for a throw-in.
Classic clock killing, as one would say. They will take too much time off. Berhalter rising up to win the header. Tillman unable to get to the second ball. Berhalter just... Does anybody love this type of game? It's Sebastian Berhalter. You can tell in his body language as Australia walked the ball up 10 yards before taking the throw. Trusty takes a shove in the back. Fopano, pass one. McKenny can't get there. Trusty from behind. Aaron Cook keeps it in play. Italiano. Is there a deflection or a miss hit? And ball 6 minutes. Spun out. It is out of play. It is a goal kick.
So this is the stuff, the bottom left of your screen. Look, that was the incident we didn't see before. Pretty clear. U.S. trying to get in front of that ball, box him out. Italiano isn't a difficult afternoon. Just the U.S. been rampant down his side, forcing him to defend.
And that's how it looks. As it stands, the U.S. clinching a spot in the next round. They could clinch first place in the group, and that would allow them to stay on the West Coast in the knockout stage. That would mean Bay Area round of 32. It would mean Seattle round of 16. It would mean LA quarterfinal if they can get there. There is a big difference too, winning the group and being second in the group for the type of opponents you get, in addition to the amount of travel. It's going to find Balogun. There's no one in the box for the U.S. Freeman. Berhalter for McKenny. Balogun. And not quite the right angle for Berhalter, although his block holds it in momentarily. Scally's there with a header. Aaron Kuda trying to sneak in. Draws contact off Richards.
He's going to get a yellow for this. So now Chris Richards on the yellow card as well. Coming across, though, this is a smart foul. This is textbook tactical foul. Aaron Kuda with his speed. You don't want to just even open the door of doubt and just cleans him out, but in a slightly innocuous way. But the rest of the yellow is said the referee. He actually had a little trip. He's getting stretched off right now with maybe a little bit of cramp.
And then the hope is it's cramping and nothing more, because it was an awkward...
Yeah, you can't expect him to really give the yellow to Chris Richards.
And it's something we don't really talk about a lot, but the fitness levels these referees have to have. One of the ways you hear it phrased is the referee has to be more fit than any given player on the field.
Well, what the hell's going on here?
To be able to be there to make the play. And it's a warm day, the sun is out, you've got FIFA medical staff. Mark Clattenburg is with us.
Yeah, someone give that guy a banana. I don't know what's going on, man.
See this, but I mean, this is just as much as it is for the players.
Throw orange at him. Come on.
It certainly is, and it's happened to them many times in games where probably you haven't got the fluid on, and therefore you're cramped up. And it's interesting. Very good to get that ball. It's different to what he needs to get something in his body. It's a hot day.
Oh my God.
Into the conditions, and there's
Man, I've been here every day since World Cup. No one brought me one of those.
referee will not be used in this one.
And you saw Katia Garcia of Mexico, the fourth official, run over some hydration. Gio and Haji Ryder preparing to enter.
I'm going to give the referee a yellow card, or a yellow card on the referee.
Here comes the Australian free kick off the Richards yellow card. Pops sideways. Malik Tillman is high and as far as he can boot it. And Malik was trying to take it clean out of the air. U.S. got to reset here defensively. Trusty heads that away in front of Italiano. The U.S. want to make subs. They were screaming at the fourth official. And they're saying that the paperwork wasn't ready. So the U.S. is still having to defend. No, they're not. It's all the way through.
And just keep in mind, too, that number you're seeing, 1 minute, in essence, it's going to be a little bit more. It's only the referee who actually knows how much time is left in this game because of the added time of him being down on the ground.
Bill Balligan created the own goal that was the opener. Haji Ryder is on for a person. And Weston McKenna will get his Jordan Carter replaced. And that has scored a wonderful special goal to get live in LA. 2-1.
I just said it time after time about the running of the strikers from the U.S. that really helped open up the game. They've still got a job to do, though, to finish this game off.
Aaron Kunda battling with Trusty, gets up first, gets to the ball, gets across, it's tapped away by Sebastian Berhalter. Tyler Adams hits the eject button. Tillman gonna get it back after from Garrett. Can he play? Haji Ryder might be offside. Haji Ryder walking his way through. Shaw's block flag comes up for offside anyway, but he milked a few more seconds off the clock. Can't be more than a few left on it still.